Hey, beautiful beings. How are we all doing today, this evening, this afternoon, whenever you are watching? I very much hope you are well. In this video, off-grid part 3, that's 6, but 3, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the different ways that you can go off-grid, okay? So we are all, if you're watching this, then, many of us want to be fully off-grid, but, there's some other ways and alternative ways that you can start to make that change. So when you're thinking about going off grid, first of all, there's different ways that you can live off grid, and this depends on your finances, it depends on your circumstances, etc. So for some people, like for someone who is maybe single or a couple, buying a van might be a brilliant idea to go off grid. You might be able to convert it. You might find that you need a really small space and you're okay with like a bed, a bathroom or toilet. It's like I said, it depends on everyone's circumstances. So buying a van and converting it is one option. This then gives you the freedom to be able to move around at your convenience, park wherever it is that you feel, and sleep in your van, and you're quite conspicuous. Nobody's going to just suddenly sort of like come knocking on your van asking why you're there unless you've maybe been in Aldi car park for a few days. So buying a van and converting is one idea. There are lots of people who have done this. There's lots of YouTube videos, there's lots of people out there with skills who can help you. Personally, for me, I am not a very practical person. When I was thinking about getting a wood burner for my caravan, I was just told, if you just cut a hole in your ceiling, Lindsay, then you do this, this and this, and then it's this and this. And I was like, oh, you make it sound so simple, but I was like, I'm not going to start trying to cut a hole in my caravan roof because I literally have no idea what I'm doing. Plus, I don't feel I actually have the space for it. So anyway, going on to other ways of going off grid. So you can live in a van. You can live in a caravan. So there's touring caravans or static caravans. The touring caravans are slightly smaller generally, and you have to be a bit more sort of let's say discerning with the space that you do have. So if you decide to go for a touring caravan, initially you may want to look at storing some stuff for the seasons. So I found it really useful to have storage space in terms of keeping my winter stuff there, so through the summer, and then doing a swap over as the seasons sort of changed. So with the touring caravan, again, as long as you've got a tow bar on your car, which I don't, then again, you'll have that freedom to go around different caravan sites or, to take it to different places. And the thing with touring caravans is, as well, they're actually quite good value for money. So you can generally pick up, especially around now, around the winter time, you could pick up a caravan for around £1,500. And then obviously the more facilities and the better condition, etc., the higher the price goes up. Excuse me. So there is the option of the touring caravan. Like I said, if you have a tow bar on your car, that's even better because that gives you the freedom to travel around if that's something that you want to do. If you decide to go for a static caravan, these tend to be slightly more expensive. So roughly around £500 to £600 a month, but within that price is included generally all of your bills. So if, for example, at the minute you're renting and you're paying £500 a month, if you think of all the added extras, they'll probably come to maybe £800 or £900. So a static caravan is another way to go off grid, or to go semi off grid, shall we say, however you want to say it. And within the static homes, they're generally bigger. They've normally got separate bedrooms, which you don't generally have in the touring caravan at the lower price scale. When you get to the higher end of the touring caravans, you'll often find you have a living space area and one bedroom. The statics generally have 2 bedrooms plus a living area plus shower, toilet, etc. So there's that option. The other options are just grabbing your tent, putting it in the car, and camping. I don't know if anybody's read a fabulous, inspiring book, which is called The Salt Path. This was written by a couple who were basically found themselves bankrupt. They had nowhere to go, so they decided to just put everything in one backpack, take the tent and go travelling down the south coast along the salt path near Cornwall, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, my geography's not great. But they just stayed in the tent, I think it was for maybe 6 or 7 months of the year, and then did some work in a farm over the winter colder months, and then went back into the tent for a period of time. But yeah, highly recommend reading The Salt Path if you haven't read it already. So that's an option, although obviously in England, in the UK, it can get very cold. So I would just say make sure you're well insulated, invest in a really decent sleeping bag. So I think the sleeping bag that I bought myself was, I think it was £60. I'll find it and I will share it in the comments below, so you can have a look at that. The other option as well of going off grid is to buy a piece of land. So if you do have any money, you can invest in a piece of land, and then you can look at putting a temporary structure on there initially before a permanent structure. Obviously you have to go through, if you want to, again, you know, depends on how much of a rebel you are. If you want to go through the whole planning permission, etc., and build a structure, then you can do that. The final option, if you want to go off grid for me, is around claiming the unclaimed land, and I will do a separate video on this at some point. So claiming the unclaimed land, so basically there is a lot of land across the UK that is currently sat empty, and there is a variety of different resources. Again, like I said, I'll share this in another video because it's quite a lot, and maybe do a proper presentation on it. But there is land available, and it's about just knowing where that is and finding it. And again, you could then put your van on there, you could put a touring caravan on there, you know. Again, like I said, I feel like that's a separate video. And then again, so that I keep thinking there's another option, you know, so the other option is to find a community and go into a community as well. So if there is a community nearby, you know, which maybe already has structures in place, or buildings, etc., you could do that. There is cooperative housing where people have knocked down, you know, I think this is in Sheffield, I think there's 3 terraced houses which have all been bought and knocked in together. So then you're living with a variety of different people, you know, working together to be sustainable, etc. So there are lots of different modalities of going off grid, but I just feel like it's like what is right for you. And in terms of your budget as well, you need to think about your finances, like what is it that you can afford at this moment in time, if it's something that you're really considering. If it's something you're thinking about in the future, then planning for what that amount looks like as well. Oh, motorhomes, I forgot motorhomes. So that was something that I originally looked at, because I was like, how cool is it that you can drive around, you know, in your motorhome, etc. But again, the cost of those for me, it was just too far above my budget. So they were around £50,000 to £60,000, like for a really decent one. And there's a chap that I know who has one, and he just said at the minute, with obviously the fuel costs going up, it's just eaten through petrol or diesel or whatever it is that he is currently using in his motorhome. So again, motorhomes can give you that flexibility and freedom, but at the minute with the petrol prices so high, then it's maybe not cost effective. So there are your different options that I am aware of, that I know about. If there's any other things that you can think of, do put them in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know, and I will do another video around this claiming the unclaimed land. I think I said I'll prepare a bit of a presentation rather than just me talking at you, because it's sort of there's some resources you can look at, etc. So I will do that in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already joined, there's the Off-Grid Community Network UK on Telegram. You can come and join us over there. Kate Brown founded that back in March 2020. We have just set up a Facebook group called Awakened Off-Grid Community. So this is for anyone who is either living off-grid already or wanting to go off-grid. and connect with other like-minded individuals as well around where they live. So then at least you know that there's other people in your area who may want to do similar that you could maybe join forces with. So do feel free. Again, I'll put those in the links in the comments below. So do feel free to go and join us on either of those or both. And like I said, see you in the next video. Have a great day.